Well, the Gauteng Premier, Banda Lesufi, had allegedly made commitments to help repatriate the bodies of 4 Malawians who were killed in the Boksburg Christmas Eve blast. But residents say that Lesufi is yet to deliver on that promise. Let's speak now to a leader from the Malawian community, Banda, who's joining us tonight. A very good evening to you, sir. Grateful for your time on News at Prime. Almost a month on, have you been able to repatriate the bodies of the people you lost on that tragic day?
Good evening, Tembikire, and to the viewers and listeners. Not yet. We are busy collecting revenues and trying to put things together. But I would like also to take opportunity to thank the Premier, the provincial government. They are working with us, and they are trying their best to assist where they can. But I think the challenge was the definition of assistant, and I think that's where we are.
Just clarify that for us. What you say was the issue that is now almost a month on, delayed, shall we say, the burial of the people who died back home.
Yes, in fact, it's about 20 days from the 24th until today. We were told to follow the process. You remember we were having this festive period as well as holidays. So there was a proper process that the body were identified, went through identification, removing the bodies from the mortuaries, from the government mortuaries to the undertakers, including processing papers and all that. So all that is done. But where we are now is at the final point where payments and the money to be paid for the bodies to be repatriated. In fact, we are talking of about 4 bodies here. I just want to clarify. We had 3 members of one same family, a lady, 30 years old, pregnant, with a brother as well, including a daughter. That's one family. Then there's another family, the Matekenya family, which is one gentleman. Yesterday morning, we received a message of the one who was at Bara, Mr. Duncan Msisha, who was sick, and he passed on early hours of yesterday morning.
So the number of deceased Malawians in this disaster stands at 5, am I right?
Yes, it stands at 5. And that's the challenge which we have now. This number is quite big. The community, the little money we have put together, we are looking for assistance, and we are pleading with everybody. As I mentioned in my last interview we had, pleading for the support from the community, local as well as organizations. We have received a couple of assistance I need to thank, but it's not enough. Taking these bodies, these remains of our compatriot Malawi is quite a task.
Right.
And we should thank the Department of Health. They were also very much helpful to help us in other avenues. But the clarity of the help, that's what we are now looking forward, that the Premier's office can help us with that clarity.
What was the last communication that you received from the Premier's office? And I wonder how far the commitment goes. Will they cover the full expense or just the balance in some of the areas?
Well, I listened to the Premier's, I was listening to the Premier's briefing. We have got the one of the directors who was working with us. They will clarify, they haven't clarified yet. So that's where we are stuck. There is no clarity or clarification, I should say, that this is the help. But also understanding, I think we all have to be understanding government processes. We understood them. And we had engagement, but so far there is not much came from the Premier's office.
Are any of the affected families, the bereaved families, are they able to repatriate their loved ones on their own?
As of my knowledge, because we have put up a task team, and I'm heading that task team, is quite hard. Taking the cost, the repatriation cost, you are starting right away from your coffin, transportations, and taking also into account the status of these bodies, these remains. They have to be reconstructed and embalmed, taking into account the distance and all that. So those are the, I don't want to go deeper, but those are the challenges we have. It's not just a question of repatriating. There are other logistics which needs to be done.
And I would imagine, right, I'd imagine the longer the wait, the more the families are delayed or unable to really not close the chapter, because mourning and grieving takes quite a long time, but they're stuck almost in the cycle where they're mourning their deceased loved ones, but they still have to face that moment where they lay them to rest.
Exactly. Because, I mean, you know the culture in our rural areas, people are gathering there, it's expensive, and if people, they have to go and do other things, but they are now stuck where they can't do the whole village. Importantly, again, as I mentioned, there are a lot of cultural-related issues that you can't hold a body of a pregnant woman for quite long. If it was in Malawi, soon you die, you are buried. So these are real inconvenience to the families. And that's why we are pleading with everybody, anybody, including the leadership, which has given us that very nice gesture, but at this point of time, we are stuck. And it's a real inconvenience to the families, including here. I mean, the families are here. They are those who wants to accompany. They are stuck. They don't know what to do. So we want to, as I'm saying here, after this interview, I have to sit down with all the families to start saying, guys, we are here. And that's the biggest challenge, as you mentioned.
Just a final question on the families. How are the bereaved families coping?
Well, they are not. It's quite hard. Mind you, these are young families. It's quite hard for them to cope. I'm talking of a family which we lost, the recent one, the last one. I was there yesterday. I mean, the kids, they have got younger kids going to school. So we have to think of how do we help the family. It has not been easy. It's a huge tragedy to the Malawian community here and back home. But we have got trust and prayers. We pray, we are God-believing people. We strongly believe that there will be somebody out there who hear our plea or our cry, who can help us.
How do they reach
time
you?
Is not on our side, as you have indicated.
Pardon me, how do those who may be listening to you and I speaking tonight reach you if they want to assist?
Yes, we have got organizations. I mean, there's an organization which we call AMSA, the Association of Malawians in South Africa. We have got an account they can put to that account. At the same time, again, we need to we have made a point that we don't want individuals to take advantage of this event, that the scammers, as the Premier indicated, that we don't want anybody to do. So what we have done is we have put up a team, which is one single point of contact and one bank account, which I can share with the producer later,
okay,
or whosoever can contact us.
Mr. Aaron Banda, good to speak to you, a Malawian community leader speaking to us tonight.
I really appreciate it. We should thank the government, all the leadership, right away to the president. We really appreciate what is the support they are giving us. Financial, I mean, not only financial, but just to comfort us as a community. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Good to speak to you, sir.